I think we've probably all experienced this. When you're trying to get anything done, something kind of big, a great idea, you want to kind of get something going in the city, and then there's a whole bunch of people out there that just say, no, not in my backyard, thank you very much. So this challenge is, how do we engage a wider range of people in consultation on public interest projects to balance the conversation from one of not in my backyard with YIMBY, yes in my backyard. And to present their solution is Adam, Hannah, Joelle and Olivia. Welcome to stage team.
The Island Bay Cycleway. Can you raise your hand if you're aware of any controversies surrounding this project? How about this one, the Basin Reserve flyover? Any controversy there? I'm sure you will have heard about this one. The Wellington bus network changes. Nothing controversial in there, eh?
Now keep your hands up if you've ever consulted on these projects when given the opportunity to. Cool. For those of you who don't have your hands up, you aren't the only ones to remain silent. These projects show us that it could have been done better on the consultation process. It shows us that both the people and the decision makers are simply not connected.
And this can really halt the progress in what could be great city change. And it's no surprise that this is happening given the current engagement levels in consultations that are happening in councils. Take the Porirua City Council long-term plan in 2018, for example. This garnered only 776 submissions. Or Wellington City Council's Planning for Growth project earlier this year. This garnered only 1,372 submissions.
It should make you wonder, what do the other 99% of the population think about these projects? My name's Adam, this is Olivia, Hannah and Joelle. We're here to tell you how to find out. We're here to tell you how an innovative digital solution to this problem could have a huge impact and reimagine the future of public engagement.
So what's stopping these people from getting involved? Why is there a silent 99%? We spoke to many people and the barriers were clear. 1, they're not motivated and don't have the time. 2, the consultation process simply takes too long. And 3, most people believe that the decision makers have already made up their mind, so why should they even bother? Take a look at this customer journey map. This current process tells us that it's far too long and it's too difficult both for the public as well as the decision makers. This process does not inspire people to re-enter into the process of engagement for future projects. This is why projects end before they even begin. Hear this. One even told us that the only types of people who engage in public submissions are weirdos. True fact. And for those of you who had your hands up, sorry. So, how might we engage the silent majority to balance the conversation? The solution is to make a connection between the public and the decision makers. The solution is to make the consultation process faster. And the solution is to have your finger on the pulse of the public.
Pulse is a digital, centralised, pre-engagement feedback platform. Pulse forms the connection between the decision makers and the public, and it will complement formal consultation processes that already happen. Pulse consists of an app, a website, and a data analytics tool. Pulse is centralised, which means that all public interest projects are on one platform, and it offers users rewards for having their say. Imagine walking into the Wellington Airport terminal and getting a notification on your phone prompting you to give your feedback on some ongoing developments within the terminal. You open the app, read the information, answer a few questions, and receive a reward for use at a nearby vendor. Having your say is faster and easier than ever before. Geotagging prompts you to have your say on projects in areas that affect you in your day-to-day life. People are now aware of the potential for change, have had their voices heard, and most importantly, that connection has been formed. Councils or businesses working on public interest projects will upload their information and the specific questions that they want feedback on to the platform. You provide the content, we provide the platform, and together we create the connection.
Pulse will be a cheaper, more effective way to engage with the public and will offer a faster, easier way to gain insights into the public opinion than ever before. Let's take a look at the customer journey map with Pulse. The process is going to be streamlined for both decision makers and users, and is going to offer a much better customer journey than the current model that Joelle showed you earlier. A more positive customer journey is going to make people want to engage again in the future. As a decision maker using Pulse, you're going to be able to analyse respondent data quickly and ensure that all demographics are being targeted. You're going to be able to increase public awareness regarding your project to reach larger and newer audiences, and you're going to decrease the cost of your ongoing engagements. Pulse is also going to assist and encourage members of the public to provide their feedback by offering a centralised platform. There's going to be no more struggling to find where to give your feedback. You're going to be rewarded for your time and opinion, and you're going to have a more direct line to decision makers. The Pulse model delivers three-pronged engagement. First, it informs people about consultations happening in their community. Second, it offers continued engagement and connection with the project via the feedback loop, enabling constituents to hear more about the project going forward. And lastly, it motivates people to get out in their community via localised rewards to help see the changes that they've made happen. We've crunched some numbers, and we need $400,000 to develop the app and build the website. Up front, this is significant, but compared to traditional engagement methods, this represents a massive saving in the long run compared to current spending due to the shared nature of the platform. Think about how the big upcoming public interest projects in Wellington will look with Pulse. Imagine being able to engage with a representative majority of Wellingtonians on the upcoming developments to Civic Square. Anyone walking through the area would get a geotagged notification prompting them to provide their feedback on how they use the space. You're able to deliver a project that really meets the needs of Wellington.
We can have Pulse up and running by late 2020, moving into a pilot phase throughout the Wellington region. During this phase, organisations using Pulse to engage will pay based on response while helping to shape the future of the platform. There's nothing to lose and everything to gain. We want you to be the pilot customers for Pulse and everyone here to be the initial users while Pulse is in its infancy. We want to reimagine public engagement with Pulse, and we want everyone here to take the first steps on that journey with us. We think with the Wellington Region Council, with the councils of the Wellington region behind us, we can make a positive city change. Following the pilot phase, we'll be looking to take Pulse to other councils, public and private organisations, central government, anywhere. Anyone who wants to engage with the public on a public interest project will find huge benefits through our platform. Pulse is a fundamentally different way to engage with the public, and it's one that we truly believe is beneficial for all parties. In fact, we're all standing here in front of you today because we genuinely believe a solution like Pulse will happen because it needs to happen. The current system is simply infeasible, and we're here to give you the chance to be on board from the very beginning. We're here to change the world with Pulse. No one ever changed the world by waiting for someone else to take the initiative. We want to take the initiative, we want to show the world what public engagement should look like, and we want everyone here to come with us. Thank you.
Question number one, how do you get people on your app?
So by working with councils during the 6-month pilot period, we can get councils to be communicating with their constituents through their regular comms channels to get people to get on board. We believe that the rewards will be a serious pull for people. They're motivated to be engaged. Councils already have good digital connection with their constituents through their social media. That is something that they get quite a good uptake on. And so we are trying to transfer that digital engagement into something that they can use through a feedback platform.
I can tell you Wellington City Council spends a lot more than $400,000 on this sort of activity. But don't tell the taxpayers union, please. I'm just wondering about the opportunity to commercialise this, to actually do something and have a win-win for you and for the public sector organisations you partner with.
Yes. Is there a specific question there? Sorry.
The opportunity of commercialising the idea to make money, on a product, but also to win with clients.
Yeah. Do you want to go? Okay, so we've thought about it a few times, honestly. I think we'd like to keep it as much in the public interest as possible. I think it would not diminish the solution, but I think keeping the best interests of the public in mind is clear the whole way. We certainly have no problem with making sure that Pulse is sustainable by itself, but our primary focus for sure would be making sure that the connection is there because it's not there right now, and we really genuinely think it's not good enough. So commercial would be secondary, I think.
Great idea. Do you think, one of the things is that, it's easy and, people engage with it, but do you think suddenly, have you thought about, people will get lazy because everything will then be done by committee or by the public opinion. People won't, at times on projects, won't make decisions. We'll just go and do a survey. And there's how do you see yourself regulating that? Or we could just, you're walking around the city and you're getting hammered. Your georeference, everywhere you go, someone's wanting to consult with you. So how do you sort of manage and regulate that so you don't have to do 20 in one day, for example? Because, people see, look, this is a popular way, a good way of getting feedback, but how do you sort of manage so it's not an overload?
Is that a me or a you? You can go for it. Okay. So certainly it would be restricted to public interest projects. And we, on our side, we would be sort of handling content, making sure that it's all relevant and it's not going too far. Also, it would be location-based to a degree, so if you only wanted to hear about things in your local region, no problem. If you want to hear about things all through the country, no problem. It's really up to us managing the content and make sure it doesn't go overboard and restricting to public interest. Do you have anything to add?
To answer the first part of the question, we see Pulse as sort of complementing formal engagement processes and continuing the conversation, so making sure that the conversation's ongoing. So traditional engagement would still be used for formal consultation. There's legislative things that need to be addressed there. So that's where Pulse comes in at the early stages of projects to get sort of a pulse check on the public opinion, really.
Might just jump in with a couple of questions from the audience here. We've got a really good one, which I think is nice and simple. Who is going to fund the rewards?
The rewards? Do you want to do that? So, so our primary concern would be council-controlled organisations to begin with. So the zoo, whoever's around. We know that there's a long-standing history for these kinds of things. And I mean, I'm not going to name Wellington businesses, but there's a lot who work closely with councils. I'm sure we'll all know. Past that, once everybody's on board, it's advertising for you. You put your rewards on here, people are going to see who you are and they're going to learn about you. They're going to go and use rewards in your business. Great. Bring more customers in. Great.
And just to add on to Adam's answer as well, once Pulse takes off, we're expecting the business to come and advertise and use Pulse as an advertising tool rather than us going.
We've spoken to Rita about the partnerships that they have with businesses for things such as their Wellington Advent calendar, which is quite popular at the end of each year, and spoken to them about the model that they use and gained their advice going forward. And so we would be charging councils to use the platform, and that could partially be going back into businesses to help supplement the rewards that they are giving out to the public.
I've got a few questions coming thick and fast, actually. So, and a couple of similar themed ones. So, yeah, good level of interest. How do you regulate those people who are providing feedback to solely rack up rewards to get rid of the professional feedback providers?
Yeah, so the way that we imagine Pulse working is that it's a platform made up of blocks. So if a council wants to just get a really quick fire pulse check on the public and only give a really short amount of information and answer one or two questions, that will be a smaller amount of points that you may have seen. You get points and those points add up to rewards. If the Wellington City Council wanted to do a quite long and involved kind of lot of information with some free text questions, that would be more points for those rewards. But councils and businesses can add and remove those blocks as desired. So you want free text to get that deeper understanding of what the public's thinking, you can add that in. If you want simple yes or no's, you can add that in.
As a more direct answer, there's technological ways to handle that problem too. So specifically, if you're worried that people are going to not bother reading the information and just answer the questions and they don't care, then there are ways to get around that, like making sure that you've been on the page for long enough, that kind of thing. That's easy. In terms of more specifics, if you're having issues with it, then we'll be here to help you. Like we'll want to work alongside you to make sure that the feedback that you get is what you want and that you believe it, that it works for what you need it for.
Thank you. So there's another couple of questions which are similar, and I'll read them out together and you can probably answer as one. So we've got, how do you stop vested interest groups swamping the system? And then similarly, not quite the same, but how do you ensure this isn't an engagement by likes, but it actually does provide meaningful and thoughtful contribution as far as feedback?
So I would say that that depends on the content that the businesses and councils are putting on the platform. If you're putting something that is really quick fire and really easy, you might get a whole lot of responses. If you're putting something more involved, you may get less responses. And so I wouldn't say that receiving a whole heap of responses is a bad thing. People are interested, they want to be engaged with you as a council or as a business, and I really don't think that that's a bad thing.
As for the vested interest side, the idea is to make it quick and easy for everybody. I thought we might get asked a question something like, so you've made it really quick and easy for NIMBYs as well. The answer is yes, but there'll be less of an impact because everyone can do it. Everyone here, easy, fast, get the voices to the people who need to hear it. So in terms of vested interest, you should hear less because you've got a more representative sample of the population. Hear what people actually want.
Cool. Look, there's lots of other questions coming through. I'm not sure we're going to have time for all of them, but a good one here. Interested to know how Pulse might work alongside the special consultative procedures and the LGA. Sounds like a fantastic pre-formal engagement tool. Local Government Act. Sorry.
Yep.
Is that one of you?
That's something that we can work alongside councils for. If they're wanting something that they can use legislatively, we can totally go through those processes alongside you. If you want something where you're thinking, we're thinking in the future that we might upgrade the town centre in Berhampore, we're just keen to know what people think of it generally, we can do something more quick fire. It's a customisable tool. It doesn't have to just be for one purpose.
Excellent, thank you. I think we have got a few other questions which we might have to take offline and deal
Come and
with.
find us later.
Yeah.
We'd love to chat.
Any last comments or questions from the judges?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.